Hi everybody, this is Lena for Poppy and Seed, and today we're going to start a new topic, a topic about self-love. It's amazing to me. I have clients coming to me of all different demographics, and when we get down to it, it always comes back to self-love. All these different issues that we think we have, these things that we're wrestling with, always comes down to self-love. So I thought we'd focus on that this month, and today we're just going to start off by giving ourselves some self-acknowledgement. This is something that I find that most of us aren't doing anymore. We're tuned so often to what's wrong, what we're not doing, what's wrong with us, what deficiencies we have, instead of giving ourselves this acknowledgement. So we're not going to set a sud scale today. Instead, we're just going to let ourselves be in the moment, be in the process, without even measuring ourselves at all. Just self-acknowledgement. So if you'd like, you can take a moment, close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths, take that moment to tune in, and perhaps starting to think of the way that you give yourself self-acknowledgement now. Are you doing it at all? And again, not about judging or measuring, just beginning to tune in. And then we'll open our eyes and we'll start tapping at the setup statement. So holding our hands like this again, we'll twist at the karate chop point, that fleshy sides of the palms. And repeating after me, knowing that my words are again just a guideline. The most important thing in this tapping process is for you to tune into however you are feeling and let that come forward for you, modifying the words however you need to, so that the process is really your own. All right, so even though I'm not always giving myself this self-acknowledgement, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So even though I don't often encourage myself by acknowledging how hard I try, but I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So even though I'm not often giving myself acknowledgement, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good, and shake it out. And we'll come right up to the tapping points. Giving myself this self-acknowledgement. I'm going to begin giving myself this self-acknowledgement now. Noticing how hard I try. I always do my best. I work hard to be a good person. I try to take care of everyone I meet. I always try my hardest. I'm a good person. And being a good person is important to me. Sending myself that acknowledgement. Acknowledging how hard I try. It's important to me that I'm a good person. And it feels good to recognize that. It feels good to tune into how hard I try. Giving myself that recognition for how much I do. Sometimes I'm really hard on myself. Looking at all the things that are wrong with me. Looking at all the ways that I'm not enough. Looking at all the ways that I'm not good enough. And I'm going to start now looking at all the ways that I excel. Looking at all the things that I do well. Even rhyming. Giving myself acknowledgement. I try really hard. It's important to me to be a good person. I try my best. Acknowledging myself. Recognizing how hard I try. how hard I work. Giving myself acknowledgement. Sending myself that love, nurturing, that recognition. I acknowledge how hard I try. I acknowledge how hard I work. I acknowledge that I always do my best. I recognize that about myself. I see myself, and I see all that I do. I don't often look at it, but I'm going to start now. Perhaps just tuning into it once a day even. Giving myself that recognition once a day. Maybe I'll take the 2 minutes while I'm brushing my teeth to give myself some acknowledgement. Some kind words. I'm so dedicated to trying hard for others, but I don't often do the same for myself. So now I pay attention. Send myself that acknowledgement. Give myself that nurturing, that uplifting, nourishing myself, body and mind and soul. I acknowledge myself and all that I do. I try really hard, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for all that I do. I know how hard I've been working, and I'm proud of myself. Giving myself that acknowledgement. I acknowledge myself. And I'm going to continue acknowledging myself each day, perhaps once or twice a day, maybe each time I brush my teeth, perhaps reviewing the day before, and giving myself acknowledgement for all the things that I did well, and all the areas where I tried my hardest. Giving myself that acknowledgement. And it feels pretty good. Recognizing myself and all that I do. I acknowledge myself. I send myself that appreciation. It feels a little funny because I'm not used to doing it. But I'm sending myself that appreciation now. And it feels pretty good. Good. Just shake it out for a moment. Take a couple deep breaths. And just tune into what's coming up for you. Does it feel good to give yourself this acknowledgement? Perhaps it feels unfamiliar. For some of us who've been told that we're not supposed to give ourselves this acknowledgement, it can even feel somewhat indulgent. And notice that we're not saying anything about how amazing we are, that we're the best person in the universe. We're just acknowledging ourselves and how hard we work. Good. And when it feels right, you can open your eyes once again. Good. We're just going to run through a quick round again of this self-acknowledgement, kind of tuning into perhaps any of those emotions that came up for us. And we're actually going to skip the setup statement because we're just going to act as though we're continuing through. So coming right back up to the tapping points. I give myself this acknowledgement. It's funny how it feels kind of funny. Giving myself acknowledgement feels funny. I'm not used to spending time on this, to taking time out of my day. I'm not used to spending time in my day giving myself acknowledgement. It hasn't felt like something that I needed to do, but now I see how rare it is that I spend time acknowledging myself. And I take time each day to acknowledge myself, how hard I try, to give myself a little bit of time each day to connect, to uplift, to encourage myself. So I'm acknowledging myself each day. And it's actually feeling a little more normal. Giving myself this acknowledgement. It seems like how it should be. Giving myself acknowledgement. It seems like that's the right way now. It feels good. Good, and shake it out. Good, and tune in once again. Take a couple breaths. And notice if you feel anything in your body. Our body has a lot of wisdom. Oftentimes we process our emotions through our body. So just tuning into your physical state now. We're actually going to move straight into our meditation, letting that portion of the tapping be complete, this idea of acknowledgement, and giving it to ourselves each day. So you can get as comfortable as you'd like, bringing the attention inward once again with the breath. Noticing where you feel your breath in your body. And then lengthening and deepening the breath by bringing it down into the belly. If you haven't breathed in your belly much, I'd like to encourage you to try this exercise, the way that we teach belly breathing to children. It's my favorite way to learn belly breathing. So you can keep your eyes closed. And imagine you can place your hands on your belly. What we do with children, we have them imagine they're rocking their favorite stuffed animal to sleep with their belly, with their breath. You can imagine that with your hands on your belly. Perhaps it was your blankie from when you were younger, or your favorite stuffed animal. Just simply imagining rocking them to sleep with your breath. It's a wonderful way to put ourselves to sleep if you have trouble falling asleep at night. You can see how soothing our own breath can be to us. And you can return your hands to wherever it's comfortable for you. Simply feeling that rise and fall of the breath in the belly. Again, when your mind wanders during meditation, give yourself a little mental high five. Good job. You noticed where your attention is. And if you've lost the train of thought through the meditation, you can always come back to the breath in your belly. This feeling of the rise and fall of your breath in your belly. Letting it act as the hub for your entire meditation. And allow yourself to begin to imagine, turning our attention towards our imagination. Imagine a large, white, fluffy cloud before you. Notice its dimensions, its texture, the tones of the colors. And in a moment, you'll scan through your body, scanning for any tension or tightness. And with that exhale and your intention, placing it into the cloud. And as you do, the cloud gets darker and darker, filling up as you release. So go ahead and scan through the body now. Releasing any tension or tightness into that cloud. And clearing out any patterns in the body, any old emotions, and placing them into the cloud. Seeing the cloud get darker and darker, filling up as you release. And imagine scanning through the mind, noticing perhaps any thoughts, old beliefs that no longer serve you. And placing them into the cloud as well. Seeing that cloud continue to darken as you release. And imagine scanning through the emotions, noticing these emotions that you've been walking around with each day, and noticing those you no longer like to be carrying, and placing those into the cloud. Seeing the cloud continue to fill up as you release. Noticing where you feel those emotions in the body, across your being, and allowing that awareness to help you release even more into that cloud. Perhaps beginning to notice a relationship between our thoughts, our emotions, and perhaps that tension in the body. And allowing the breath to release for you anything remaining that no longer benefits you. Releasing into that cloud with each exhale. Seeing that cloud get dark and inky black, heavy with all that you've released. When seeing that dark, black, inky black cloud, and somewhere through it you see a beam of light, and you realize that it's the sunlight beginning to burn away this dark, black cloud. And as the last little wisps of that cloud are burned away, you see before you a path. 5 steps through a lovely garden. And at the end of this path, you see a lovely garden mirror. Noticing all the details of this scene around you with each one of your senses. Tuning into the sights and sounds. Allowing yourself to imagine. And in a moment, you'll start down the path with your left foot first, moving towards this garden mirror, this place to reflect upon all that is wonderful about you, this mirror that shows you all that is lovely and good about you. And starting with your left foot first, at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, standing in front of this garden mirror. Notice your reflection, seeing yourself looking the same but a little bit different. This reflection of all that is wonderful about you. Becoming so familiar with this you, this reflection of you. Notice what's different about you. This reflection of all that is wonderful about you. And notice what's the same. And imagine this reflection of you sharing with you 3 of your most wonderful traits. Allowing yourself to simply receive without needing to analyze. Just receive. In a moment, I will count up from 1 to 5. In 5, you can open your eyes, returning to the room. Returning with these messages from within. Your most positive traits, what's wonderful about you. And perhaps reflecting upon it each day in the days to come. And at 1, becoming a little more aware and alert. At 2, coming back to the breath, bringing that feeling of the rising of the breath up the back of the body as you inhale. And down the front of the body as you exhale. And at 3, becoming a little more aware and alert. Perhaps aware of how you've placed your body. Aware of the sounds around you. Maintaining that internal connection as you bring in your external awareness. And at 4, you can bring movement back to the body, wiggling the fingers or the toes. Allowing yourself to move slowly and gently as you bring movement back to the body. You can stretch if that feels comfortable. Take your time. And at 5, you can open your eyes whenever it feels right for you. And for more information, you can go to poppyandseed.com, or you can follow me at the88percent.com. I'm Lena George. Thank you for your time.